Shiny object syndrome that is killing your business. If you're constantly jumping from one shiny new gimmick to the next, you're not growing your business. You're actually really destroying it and you're slowing down your progress. So here's the truth. Most business owners don't have a strategy problem. They have a focus problem. Especially in this day and age in 2025, where we're bombarded with ads and new systems and this new AI and this new content thing, the list never stops. So you don't need another course, even though some are probably pretty beneficial if it really targets the problem you have. And I do want to say one of my favorite things to watch that is free is on acquisition.com, Alex Hormozi, which if you know me, you know that I'm actually a pretty big fan of things that he teaches. He has courses on how to create an offer, how to get leads, all that stuff, literally for free on his website. I'm not discounting that there's a time and place for courses. I even have a website course that I built, how you buy a domain, how you set up hosting, install WordPress, what page builder to choose, which personally my favorite is Elementor, and how to build a website using those tools. I'm not saying there is no course that would be of any value, but if you're stuck, if you're not getting enough customers, you don't need another course, another thing to spend your money on, another automation tool or another Canva template, another script. You need to ask yourself 2 questions while you look through these things. Will it get me more customers, and will this make them worth more to my business? That's what I've seen recently. That's something Alex Hormozi said. He was talking in his video to someone on the screen, and he kept talking about how this is literally the only 2 things that matter when you're growing your business. So if the answer to both is no, bottom line is that it's a distraction. And listen, I really get it. I've chased millions of ideas too. I probably went through at least 5 project management tools, only to figure out that now that AI is in the game, it is just me and my beloved ChatGPT, and there's no need for me to have an elaborate project management tool. I, for example, use a really simple, very well documented Google Sheet, which also was something ChatGPT helped me build. It's a hub of all of my information. I know where to find what. It's free. It's easy for me to manage, and it doesn't waste my time. So stop wasting your time on tweaking fonts and your logo and other things if your pipeline is completely empty. Figure out what's the bottleneck, why is your pipeline empty, why is no one working with you, and why is it so hard for you to get new business in the door. And then that's what you should focus on and nothing else. Prioritize, prioritize, prioritize. The reason why I say this is because the second we actually start focusing only on what drives our revenue and long-term value, everything starts to change, because this is the bottleneck. And I think if we're honest with ourselves, we all know kind of what it is that we should focus on. Like, for example, for my business, I have my offer, I have my way of delivering, I have a process, I have a strategy. But my bottleneck, just like with many other businesses, is as I'm scaling, I need more and more people in my pipeline to start building websites for that highly convert for their business. I know that that's my bottleneck. I know that that's what I have to focus most of my efforts and time toward. It also happens to be the one thing I don't like doing. I don't like sales, but it's probably something that will grow my business. So, this is kind of, we all can be honest with ourselves and each other and understand that there's certain aspects of our business, if we're really serious about growing, we'll just have to do whether we like it or not. So the key points here are really, your business grows when you, A, get more of the right customers, you give them more value, and you turn them into loyal and long-term relationships. That then also helps with your recurring revenue every single month. That helps keeps the lights on, keeps you going, gives you more freedom, time, and space, because you're not always having to chase the next gig just to make ends meet. So again, focus, focus, focus. I can't stress it enough how it's starting to change my business now that I finally just grab myself and force myself to do the things that I all these years just really didn't want to do. It is very simple, but it's also powerful, but it's also so hard to do. So for example, for my business, improving your website so it converts better is a really powerful thing, right? Because a website, like we always talk about this on this channel, your website needs to convert well. It needs to communicate things well to your users and your audience. If it doesn't, you're going to lose. You have to dial in your offer and make it really clear what it is that you're selling. You want to deliver, in my opinion, about 10x the value after the sale. I always love to underpromise and overdeliver. It is the best feeling in the world when someone signs up and is anxiously awaiting the results. And then when you're blowing them away with it, this is the best way to get way more word of mouth and referrals, great 5-star reviews, and long-term clients. Then they're always going to come to you and are so happy to have found you. That's really why I have built this business and why I love it so much, and why I can hustle and stay up late at night and work hard and have sometimes failures, but then the big wins, because it keeps me going. It is almost like a little bit of an adrenaline rush to see these other businesses succeed based on what I've done to help them. It is just priceless. On top of that, if you then also know your numbers and you optimize those, you make sure that you lower your overhead as much as you possibly can without, again, decreasing your quality or your deliverables. Keep those subscriptions at bay. Make sure you're not paying for things you don't need. I can't tell you, for example, for the longest time, I used Canva for a lot of my things. I didn't know that Canva can do screen recordings and those little, talking head videos. I had paid for Loom as well, which is a couple $100 for the whole year, I want to say. Maybe $240 if I'm not mistaken. I forget what the prices are. The point is, I was already paying for Canva. So trim the fat. Make sure you're not double dipping somewhere on accident, that you're not paying too much. Because not only is it going to make you less productive, it also costs you. It messes with your bottom line. So if you're feeling scattered, overwhelmed, or stuck, just forget the shiny objects. Ask yourself the 2 questions we talked about earlier, which are, will this get me more customers, and will this make them worth more to my business? I can't tell you enough how many times Alex Hormozi has been able to kind of get my head straight and drop some truth bombs that have made me really sit back and be like, yep, that is completely true. So if you feel like you've spent the whole day working and you've been busy, but nothing you did actually moved the needle, this is a pretty good indicator that you're probably going to have to step back, refocus, re-strategize, make sure you're moving the needle, you're working on what's most important for your business to help it grow. And I know it's hard. And I know sometimes we need accountability partners, just like when we go to the gym. A lot of times we don't really want to go. And if no one's watching or helping us do it, then we often just don't go. So it's similar with this in business. We all need to surround ourselves with like-minded individuals. So I invite you to become part of this Web3 Creative family. Like and subscribe, comment. Let's all start the conversation around this whole thing and help each other really get going, do the right thing. Owning your own business, especially in the US, is such a powerful and empowering thing. We can do great things, and life looks so wonderful if you have freedom and money and you can make your own schedule. Let's go make something great happen on purpose, with a purpose, and I'll see you next time.